Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash. So recently we've been going over the definitive rankings, if the way I'm putting it at the very least is definitive rankings, for The Flash's episodes in each respective season in order from season 1 upwards. So in the case of the first 3 seasons, we went over all 23 episodes, and that will be the same today with season 4 of The Flash. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be going over all 23 episodes of season 4, ranking them from worst to best in regards to their overall rankings by users on IMDb, but not based off the overall ratings that the site gives them, as that can be altered by, troll votes with 1 out of 10s, 2 out of 10s, everything like that. And while there might not be surprises when it comes to maybe the top handful of choices, at least in my opinion, there are some very different rankings compared to what my process has come up with and how they are ranked overall on IMDb. Not as drastic as some previous seasons we've gone over previously, but still interesting enough to see the difference, and we will highlight the difference when the time comes in this video. But yeah, throughout the video, let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts on what we go over in this video and any reactions you have. And also maybe leave what your top 3 episodes of season 4 of The Flash are in the comments below. People might have some surprising choices, or maybe some trolly choices, I don't know. But let me know, and of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support, everything like that, drop a like on the video, it takes 2 seconds. So of course, we are going to start from the worst, or quote unquote worst episode, or lowest ranked episode, all the way to the highest. So yeah, let's go. So at number 23, this might be surprising, this might not be, I'm not too sure, it probably depends on the person. But in the last spot, we have episode 16 of season 4, Run, Iris, Run. Now, I don't know if this is a surprise to some. Some might feel that another episode should be the lowest ranked. I'm not too sure, but I wasn't overly surprised to see that this was the one that fell in last place. And number 22 is episode 5, maybe the episode that people think should be in last place, swapping with Run, Iris, Run, I don't know, but that is Girls' Night Out. Reminder, this episode has some absolutely bad stuff in it, but it's also the episode where you get drunk Barry yelling, "I am the Flash," or whatever that stuff was, and the chicken wing. So it's got some good stuff in it, and some funny stuff, but it's also got some pretty bad and sort of cringy stuff as well. So I can understand the low ranking. At number 21, we have episode 21, pretty fitting, Harry and the Harrisons. I just remember this being an Amunet Black episode, or involving Amunet Black, but I can't remember the specifics of it. At number 20, we have a bit of a surprise in my opinion, at least just based off what we usually see with The Flash and just TV shows in general, but it's episode 2, Mixed Signals. Now this isn't really commentary on the actual episode because I can't remember too much about the episode, but it's just usually your opening maybe 2 to 3 episodes of a season are some of your stronger ones, so I was surprised to see it this low. At number 19, we have episode 6, When Harry Met Harry. I think this might have been like a Counselor Wells episode, but once again, can't remember too much about it. At number 18, we have episode 14, Subject 9, which this was like in the middle of the DeVoe body swapping, I think, or the metahuman hunting, maybe? I can't remember, but I think this was the one with the fiddler in it, but yeah. At number 17, another same number thing, is episode 17. This was Null and Annoyed. Can't remember too much about this episode, to be completely honest. At number 16, we have episode 3, Luck Be a Lady, which is of course the first episode where we get, Hazard showing up, and we get the sort of like the slapstick comedy. And I remember this being a divisive episode at the time. People didn't like it. I remember season 4 started off with like a bit more comedy in it, and it was a bit jarring for people. And this episode heavily played into at least the slapstick side of it. At number 15, we have episode 19, Fury Rogue, and based off the thing, I'm assuming it's a Rogues episode. I think I saw Captain Cold in a photo when I was, putting this stuff together. So, yeah, it's in the, I guess like the top of the back third. So, probably just one of those mid episodes. At number 14, we have episode 11, The Elongated Night Rises. Now, this was in the midst of like Barry being in jail. So, like Ralph Dibny, or Elongated Man, has to be the hero of Central City. I think once again, this is an episode with a bit of like slapstick comedy and stuff in it. Maybe people thought it was a bit silly, but I think he gets his like suit in this episode, like the cool suit, so there's a plus. At number 13, we have episode 12, Honey, I Shrunk Team Flash. A lot of these episodes, like in season 4, in my opinion, are still really fun episodes to watch, but I understand where like a lot of people didn't vibe with the comedy in season 4. As I've always said, I really like season 4 as a season. It's not my favorite season, but it's one of my more favored seasons. But yeah, I guess the comedy stuff was a bit jarring for people. And I think this is maybe one episode that played into it as well. At number 12, we have episode 13, True Colors. Honestly, can't remember what happens in this episode too much. Not even gonna try and guess because the title is pretty basic. At number 11, we have episode 22, the second last episode of the season, Think Fast. And this is, of course, is the bit where we have like sort of DeVoe being incredibly overpowered and sort of them trying to figure out what's happening there. I think maybe this episode could have been a bit high, but maybe there was something controversial in the episode that maybe made people vote it down a bit because it's only, pretty much halfway, at the halfway point in regards to this countdown. So I thought it maybe should have been higher, but once again, I haven't watched it since season 4, so maybe I'm missing something. At episode 10, we have episode 20, Therefore She Is, and just based off the title, I'm assuming this episode was about DeVoe's wife. Can't remember specifics around it though. At number 9, we have episode 1, the season premiere, not series premiere, the season premiere, The Flash Reborn, and I have more to say about this episode when we talk specifics in regards to differences, so I'll leave that till then. But yeah, I have not an issue, but just a question mark on this placing. At number 8, we have episode 23, the season finale, We Are the Flash. I can't remember this episode, like if this finale is meant to be like that great of a finale, but also like create a lot of hype for season 5. So yeah, I can't remember. It's still number 8. It's not like it's 18th or something. So it's still, in the top 10. So it's not like it's being flamed, but usually you see a season finale get a bit higher that, maybe in your top 6 or something like that. At number 7, we have episode 18, Lose Yourself. I can't remember what happens in this episode, to be completely honest, but yeah, it's ahead of the season finale. At number 6, we have episode 4, Elongated Journey into Night, which is of course the Ralph Dibny introductory episode, which was a really solid episode and did pretty much set up Ralph. It also sort of like did the whole the bus metas sort of thing. It sort of started that connection and the journey in regards to following that. So yeah, this is a really good episode, not in regards to just introducing Ralph and setting his story up, and I've always said season 4 and Ralph Dibny's story in season 4 is the best character development the show's ever done outside of Barry. So this started it all off, but also the bus meta thing also sort of got started in this episode as well, at least in regards to the pure connections. And here we enter the top 5. So at number 5, we have episode 10, The Trial of the Flash, which of course is pretty self-explanatory. This is the court case for Barry in regards to him being charged with DeVoe's murder, and the corruption around that, and DeVoe playing around with stuff there. So yeah, this is not a surprise that it's high up there. At number 4, we have episode 9, Don't Run, which is the mid-season finale, which is when Barry gets arrested right at the end for the murder of DeVoe. So then we get to see DeVoe body swap for the first time. So yeah, this once again really kick-started the back half story for this season. But here we go, we enter the top 3. The top 3 episodes. There might be 1 or 2 that you're like, he hasn't mentioned them yet, and you might have just predicted them to be either the top episode or in the top 3. But here we go. So at number 3, we have episode 7, Therefore I Am, which is a great episode, not just for season 4, but the show as a whole. And this is of course like the DeVoe flashback episode, which then leads into how he became the Thinker, essentially, and the accident that he went through and everything like that. Awesome episode, great episode, definitely deserves to be in the top 3. At number 2, in second episode, just missing out, but probably good that it misses out because it's a crossover episode, and that's episode 8, and that is Crisis on Earth X Part 3. There was 4 episodes in Crisis, so this is the second last one, and I think this was the one that really dealt with, I think, like, them being, like, I think it might have been the episode where Supergirl was captured by the Nazis, and, like, you had Eobard Thawne, like, they were going to kill her. I think this might have been that episode. So yeah, it's not too much of a surprise that this is high up there. Usually crossover episodes are pretty high just because by default, it's a fan thing. They usually get higher ratings. But this, Crisis on Earth X is most people's favorite crossover. So it's not a surprise that an episode from that would be high rated as well. And at number 1, if you've been ticking them off and just thinking, episodes in season 4 that I like, blah, 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 you should easily be able to tell what the number 1 episode is, at least in regards to this ranking for season 4, and that is episode 15, Enter Flash Time, one of the most beloved episodes of the show, which is sort of funny because it has nothing to do story-wise. That's sort of like a couple things at the end of season 4 that never really picked up on again. It's pretty much a filler episode from beginning to end. And, people wanted more of these, and there were some, episodes in like future seasons where they did this. But, the fact that this is number 1 sort of shows how much people liked it. So, yeah, And to Flash time, great episode for Barry in regards to his power set, though it's a bit inconsistent going forward, and some people sort of wish they didn't introduce this power set, or at least highlighting how powerful it was or something like that. But yeah, I'm not surprised it was number one. I actually sort of was not confident it was going to be number one because I just wasn't too sure. But I thought it'd definitely be in the top 3 when I started doing this thing, so I'm not surprised it eventually falls at number 1. But if you can see here, we have the rankings with the actual numbers that I sort of based it off, and we have the percentage of votes with the, the highest ranking number that was voted for. And as you can see, most of the episodes have 10 out of 10s, but it's far from a majority like we had in previous seasons. Like in the previous seasons, it's like 2/3 of the episodes had 10 out of 10s as the most votes. But yeah, it's far from majority. There were 9 episodes that had mostly 10 out of 10 votes. 7 episodes had mostly 8 out of 10s. 5 episodes had mostly 7 out of 10s. And 2 of the episodes in season 4 had mostly 1 out of 10s, the lowest you can give it. No season previously had an episode with mostly 1 out of 10. The closest that came to that was in season 3, which was the musical crossover. But then again, I think 10 out of 10 beat it comfortably. And this season, season 4 has 2 episodes. Of course, they are 2 very much disliked episodes that people can usually rattle off the top of their heads when talking about episodes that they don't like when it comes to The Flash as a whole, let alone specifically season 4. But yeah, season 4 now has that trend setting in regards to a 1 out of 10 most, voted for, but also having 2 in one season. Now, if we compare this to the IMDb rankings, as you can see, we only have 10 that fall in this. I say only, but I think that might be the most, or maybe season 1 had more, but season 2 and 3 had 8 that fell in the same spot. So season 4 has 10 that fall in the same spot, and you should be able to tell that they are the ones that are highlighted in green. But the rankings are similar for the most part around the board, mostly missing by like 1, 2, maybe 3 spots here or there. Outside of only 1, really, there was really only 1 episode that was a somewhat considerable amount away, comparing, both rankings that I feel is worth pointing out. Mainly because I also feel, even on my list and how I put it together, it's lower than I think it should actually be. And that episode is episode 1, the season premiere, otherwise entitled The Flash Reborn. This is 9th overall on my list. Not bad, but it's, 14th overall in the bottom half on the IMDb rankings. And I think that's actually pretty harsh. I actually think episode 1 of season 4 is one of the strongest premiere episodes for a season of The Flash overall. It has been a while since I've watched it, but I think it's a really well-made episode from memory and does a lot in that episode, just for what it is, and also setting up various things that go on to play a part in the rest of season 4 right up until the end. You got to remember, this is the episode where we start the season where Barry is trapped in the Speed Force. Wally is the only speedster in Central City and has to, pick up the slack for Barry. This episode involves showing Wally and Cisco protecting the city, them trying to get Barry out, thinking they failed, then Barry actually getting out but in a different area, then all that, Barry having his mind warped and he's speaking gibberish and just random words and everything like that. Then we have Barry snapping out of what was happening with him. And then we lead to saving Iris from that Samuroid thing and setting up DeVoe, as well as the stuff revolving around Killer Frost and having a Black, might I say. And, there's probably more in that episode that I just can't remember because, as I said, I'm just going off my memory of that episode. There is probably more. So I think it should be higher on the list. Not sure exactly where on the list. I'm not saying it should be number 1 or 2, but I think it should be at least higher, just based off my memory of season 4. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm not too sure, but it just sort of surprised me that it was sitting, 9th on my list, but 14th on the IMDb one. I thought that was pretty harsh. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. That's it to go over. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this. Were there any surprising rankings here? What are your, what's your favorite episode of season 4? Is it Into Flash Time? Is it something else? Maybe leave your top 3, top 5, whatever it is. And is there a lower ranked one where you're like, hey, that shouldn't be that low. Come on, be serious. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.